the U.S. has announced new potential tariffs on imported goods. What does this mean for us hosts?
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant. And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
These tariffs, right now they're talking about 25% on imported goods from Canada and Mexico, which would affect aluminum, wood, and steel.
And then 10% from imports from China, which would include furniture, linens, electronics.
That could be impactful for our business.
Absolutely.
Those are all things we use.
One of the goals of the tariffs is to incentivize domestic manufacturing, but it's still going to impact us as short-term rental hosts. Okay, it's going to impact our common household items and then also just our property essentials. So let's break it down. It's anything from our linens to our paper goods to our furniture. These are all coming from tariff-affected countries.
So if you are going to be purchasing a short-term rental and then renovating it, or you have an existing one, these tariffs can affect your operations, your profitability, your margins. And so in this video, we're going to go through which tariffs can directly impact us in more detail and how to get ahead of it so we can hopefully stay profitable. Let's first talk about toilet paper, paper towels.
I mean, it's probably what you buy the most
Yeah.
of. It's what your guests use the most of.
So according to our research, a lot of our paper towels and toilet paper come from these tariff-affected countries, potential tariff-affected countries, China and Canada. One source even said that we get some 60% of our toilet paper and paper towels from Canada. So a 25% increase on those imports, however that affects our pricing, like what we buy it for, could be really impactful on our businesses.
Yeah, so it's like just prepare. There's probably going to expect higher prices on those items.
So I don't know if you want to start stocking up while prices are low. Even if you buy in bulk, it's going to be something to take in consideration. And if you're tracking your expenses, see what would happen. Play around with your numbers a little bit. Okay, if paper towels and toilet paper cost me more, and I don't know how much you leave for the guest, how much your guest actually using. Maybe I don't want you to skimp on that hospitality part of this. But maybe instead of leaving them like an entire packaging, you leave them 2 to 3 rolls and ask them to be conscious of it, or see how the pricing is going to affect your bottom line if it were a 25% increase on what you're already spending. Just thinking ahead, I think, will be really helpful.
Let's talk about our favorite morning beverage, coffee. Just beverages, those morning beverages in general. Coffee, majority of it is produced in South America. However, that's just the bean. It's like what happens after the bean. We've got packaging, we've got like Nespresso, Keurig, all the other things that happen, and that is going to be impacted by these potential tariff countries. So this is something, we've actually talked about this on so many of our videos, like if you can find a local roaster, this is such a great way to work with a local business, support a small business, maybe have a workaround to these tariffs, and just increase the overall guest experience. It's something that just like really shows the hospitality to your guest.
Over 40% of our textiles, think bedding and towels, come from China and India. So if China has a 10% tariff, this will obviously raise the cost of the things that we use all the time in our short-term rentals, those beddings and towels. So what can we do? We can try to look for USA-made bedding and towels, linens in general, to save on costs. Be aware of what you're spending now. So if and when these tariffs take effect, you know exactly what your next move is. The company that you're going to go to, are you saving money? Does that still cost more? How much more? All of that's going to matter.
Yeah, and there are domestic hotel supply companies. And so looking at those domestic companies here that buy in bulk, like you actually might be able to save, like this might be something you've been putting off for quite some time, but maybe you now qualify for that bulk buying from them. And last but not least on these consumables, think your shampoos, your conditioners, your lotions. The first thing, like we always recommend this too, tariff or no tariff, is like buying the larger refillable receptacles, like those teeny tiny hotel brands. Number one, that's not good for the environment. Number two, it's not good for your pocketbook. So if you're not doing that yet, please make sure you're buying in bulk those shampoo, conditioners, body soaps, lotions, etc.
And like with all of these that we just went over, trying to find US made will hopefully be the answer in saving us money, keeping our expenses at what you're expecting to pay, but at least have an idea of like if your favorite shampoo, lotions go up in cost, you know what your alternative is going to be, and you're hoping that the prices won't be affected because it's made here in the US. All right, so let's talk about building or renovating or performing maintenance. As we talked about, some of these tariffs could impact the cost of wood, steel, aluminum, those building materials. So looking for reclaimed sources of material that you can use in your building, and just making sure that when you price out these projects, you are taking into consideration a potential 10 to 25% increase on getting the job done will be smart forecasting on your end.
And just do that, period. Like if you're ever doing any construction project on your short-term rental, put that buffer in there. Sarah and I are doing that right now, and we always add 15 to 20% buffer for labor and materials. Just play it safe. Furniture, decor, we know so much of this is made overseas, especially in China. And so the thing with this is, can you buy secondhand? Is there some stuff that you could purchase secondhand? And of course, some of those items, we do want you to be aware you might need to recover it because you don't know where the materials were ahead of time. Yeah. But again, if it's something like wooden furniture, that's something that you could absolutely go ahead, either paint, restain. There are some options. There's so many options there. Again, like being friendly to Mother Earth, being friendly to your wallet. This is where you might want to do more of a deep dive investigation so you can save those funds.
I can tell you that there are higher end, what are they called?
Consignment?
Consignment stores, yes. Like it's nicer. It's actually really quality stuff that you can't find. It's like not everyone is getting this thing off of Amazon or Wayfair. It'll make
the quality will be better.
The quality will be better. Your short-term rental will stand out as well.
Unique
pieces. It does require more work on our end, and just because they're reclaimed or reused does not mean it's going to be cheaper because it is quality furniture. But going to these higher end or more quality consignment stores could be a real big win for furnishing and decorating your place.
And of course, still looking for those US-made furniture products.
Appliances, TVs, smart home devices, kitchen appliances, all this stuff, a majority of it comes from China and Mexico. So if and when tariffs take place, these prices are going to skyrocket. So what can we do in it?
I mean, number one, you already know if maybe you're pushing the limit on some of your appliances and your electronics. I mean, just go ahead, buy it new now. Get it while you can before it breaks down on you, okay? Yeah. And some of those, like let's say televisions, appliances, there are so many stores that do amazing sales, especially when holidays come around, so look for those. You can also get some refurbished, let's say electronics and or appliances. So this is something that you want to get ahead of because this is about hospitality too. If you have a guest in your property and TV stops working, the refrigerator stops working, the oven stops working. It's not fun for anybody. So if you can get ahead of this now before any sort of tariffs or any sort of guest relations might be in compromise, do yourself a favor.
All right, let's recap, talk about strategies to help us as these price increases are looming.
And these strategies are for looming tariffs. These are good business strategies for you to have no matter what. So number one, buy in bulk. Have you been running the numbers of all of the amenities that you use? We can share with you, like when I first started, I thought I was saving money by just buying as much as I needed at the time when it came to coffee and toilet paper because I was on a shoestring budget just trying to get my short-term rental started. But whoa, when I ran the numbers, buying in bulk saved me so much. So now we actually shop quarterly, which has been a game changer. And can I say, the one thing I didn't calculate when I wasn't buying in bulk was all my trips back and forth to Target that's my gas, that's my time, that's the prices that are so much more expensive than us planning ahead and buying via, let's say, a Costco. So do yourself a favor, look at what you're consuming the most of and buy it in bulk.
We've already talked about this a ton, and it is a goal of one of the goals of the tariffs is to get us to buy local. Shop domestically sourced products. So when it comes to furniture and decor and things that we can get here in the States, to put more of an effort on finding those items. And here's the bonus to that. Again, if you're not just shopping off of the easy places like Amazon and Wayfair and doing more of a curated collection for your short-term rental, it's more eco-friendly because a lot of that stuff will be secondhand, and also it could be better quality if you're going to, like we talked about, consignment stores, nicer consignment stores. And what am I missing? Oh, it'll look unique.
And just to
you won't look like everybody else.
Giving back to your local community too, if it's a small business near you. And what a great time to evaluate your own pricing and fees. Whew. I actually talked to a host the other day that said she has not changed her pricing since she started hosting 8 years ago.
Who said that?
Facts. So here is the deal. We have been talking for years now, inflation, tariffs, all the things. When have you sat down and looked at your own increasing in pricing, and have you changed your pricing for the guest? Listen, things changed, pricing changes. There is inflation, just overnight. Take a look at your competition. Make sure that you are getting the value out of your home that you're putting in. So please, please, please take the time, look at your own pricing strategy and the fees that you have associated with your home.
And that's not saying just raise prices to raise prices. That's not what we're saying.
No.
It's just revisit it, look at what your expenses are going to be, and the economy is going to have to all play together to make it work. People are still going to need to travel. They're still going to need some place to stay. So just make sure that your pricing is in line with the market. Diversify your supply sources. I'm not going to lie. I can get complacent on the things that I buy. Hey, I always buy this thing. I'm just going to keep on buying this thing. But now it's time for us all to stop and just pay attention. Where does this thing come from? Is there a better price somewhere else? Whether or not these tariffs take effect, regardless, it's just a good time for us to all be a little bit more mindful about the money we're spending and what we're spending it on and where it's made. Because if we can save money by going to a different supplier and diversifying where we buy these things from, we're not pigeonholed or taken aback when all of a sudden prices skyrocket. Now you're having to scramble and find out something that everyone else already found out, and so maybe it's not available anymore, or whatever the case is going to be. It's just good to pay attention and open your eyes to it.
Case in point, I was watching the Chipotle CEO last night chat about their avocado imports. And everybody thinks that avocado only comes from Mexico. They have been diversifying their avocado import for a while now.
Oh, wow.
Just again, as a smart business owner, I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. I don't want to have all my avocados in the Mexico basket. So that's been part of his leadership team, has been finding out where else they can source avocado from. So now they don't have 100% of their avocado coming from one place. And be that CEO of your business, have a backup plan for all of the things that you supply. I think we all if you were in short-term rentals during COVID, we experienced this of going to a supplier and there not being any toilet paper and oh no, where do I go now? So just be prepared.
All right, so in conclusion, this whole video really is about being prepared. It is brought on by these conversations about looming tariffs, but I think it's just a good reminder for us to be more involved in where our money is going and are there other alternatives? Can we diversify?
Yeah, because we kind of just go for the easy button all the time. What can be delivered to my house? We don't always think through all of the implications. And this is something, whether it's tariffs, whether it's taxes, whether it's you have your own change in your income, you need to be prepared for this, and it's time to just slow down, to speed up, and make sure you are doing the best thing for your bottom line.
So let us know in the comments. I'm sure it's going to be a lively discussion. Have you seen any sort of increase in prices for your short-term rentals? What do you plan to do?
Well, where are you saving money? Help us out. Help all the hosts out. What's your favorite product? Where do you get it for that best price?
Yeah.
We want to know. Help us out.
And if you are concerned about, raising your prices or what this is going to do to travel and maybe your bookings are going to slow down, don't worry. We can also help you take control of your listing. Check out our video all about how to get more bookings. With that, I am Sarah Caracan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are.
Thanks for visiting.